let's take a look at G2 versus KC, the journey up until this point. I think the BO1 doesn't matter too much, but I do think that the two best of fives that they played, I think, is a testament to how important preparation is over anything else. KC versus G2, the first time they played against each other, if you remember, it was the Azir trade for Ezreal Maokai with Kalista out, and then the K'Sante Varus. The Poppy as a match, and then the Talia in the 4-5 against Blitzcrank, right? So mistakes that you only do once in this one is inviting the Poppy against K'Sante matchup, which is a big comfort, of course, for Mr. Broken Blade, and the Lulu Blind against Blitzcrank, and then letting the enemy go 4-5 and not ban Talia when you have Azir first pick, right? These are mistakes that you only do once in terms of where you land on the draft. Labrov is a big comfort player. Blitzcrank is a very, very, known champion that he plays. Inviting a blind that supports that is very, very dangerous. Letting the enemy get Talia on 4, banning Koki Aurora when enemy showing Maokai is obviously a mistake as well. Maokai Jungle is very, very likely from this spot. Aurora Maokai as a combo is not that strong, and K'Sante will carry that game. The enemy needs DPS, and in terms of preparation, clear victory for G2, right? Very tough game for KC to play. KC, game 2 against G2. I still think G2 had the better preparation here, but I think that this is, if anyone wants to make an argument for why Red Side could be weaker in Fearless, and the lack of precision when it comes to Fearless is you don't have enough time to practice all, types of compositions. It's very, very difficult to practice all types of compositions. Here, G2 are playing Aurora, Rel, Kaiser, Nocturne, Galio against, a Rumble on side, very easy to kill. Kaiser in a good matchup against Zeri. I think this is a very, very good looking draft for G2. But I do think the main thing that stands out here, right, are some crucial picks for KC, and something that I said in the rundown as well, is Kana is playing something that does DPS and damage. Kana, when he is put in a position to carry, and when KC have supportive champions in the jungle position and the super position, and they have carry set up for either AD, AD top and mid, this is the best, best variant, best recipe for KC success. When Yag is playing the Maokai, the Skana, the Vi, this looks best. When he played Nidalee, it looked worse. When he's playing carries, it looks a little bit worse. Because usually when you play carries in the jungle position, you need to compensate with something top lane. And in this game, KC simply outplayed. They found some good catches. There was the Vi Q flash that he did that was so amazing. On to, of course, Kaiser. That Kaiser didn't flash, and then they won the game off of that because Victor got fed. And Rumble recovered the game after the ganks that he did against him. We continue. G2, here, KC, once again. Like, it was cheeky to send Ayaso, but it's just terrible to do into Zyra, right? This is once again a game that you never want to replay again. Because the enemy is slamming Renekton and Yon 4-5 into your full melee composition is also a complete free win, right? And then once again, they put Kana on Ornn and putting the Jace mid, which was, of course, very, very disappointing. Massive preparationary win for G2. I think here KC simply have no chance to win the game. Finally, KC do a Draven first pick, Kaelin Xin Zhao very strong at this point because of all the junglers that are out. And then finally Viego and Ryze not following the structure that we mentioned, right? The recipe of KC is clearly supportive champions on jungle, supportive champions on support, and then DPS top lane, and then carry mid laner, and then a mix in AD, because sometimes, of course, there are situations where they play Varus, Ashe, and it still looks very, very good. So this is the worst Draven game to ever play. So now, knowing this, right, let's take a look at the adjustments that KC did in this BO5 with this information. KC in the opening one, they banned Kalista on red to match the Draven. Didn't want to be in a situation with the Varus Kalista matchup against Hans Sama. Makes a lot of sense. Ambessa gets banned by G2 because G2 on blue side don't want to blind Ambessa themselves because Kana has a mean Renekton. And then finally, they don't want to be in a situation where Ambessa gets picked on 3 and their Warwick gets banned out and they, of course, play it. So they follow up with a Kaiser ban here, which was a clear signal that they are first picking Ezreal. But that was no big deal for KC because they thought to themselves, we're going to get Varus, we're going to get Maokai. A very, very massive indicator for one of G2's adjustments that they did over time. If we take a look at the winter season, G2 dropped playing Varus MF completely and started giving champions, to Hansama that were more, let's say, scaling and carry oriented. Take a look at G2's start. Take a G2, Kalista, they lost that game. We had G2 against KC. This was the Misfortune game that we mentioned. G2 versus BDS is something we clicked already. Let's find the final game. G2, there was a Draven, right? It's against SK. It is what it is. And then we have a G2 versus Vitality. Varus game. This was not the smoothest game, but it was a game after all. G2 versus GX. Misfortune once again. And then here, coming into week 3, we had the massive pivot for G2. Ezreal, and then finally, you guessed it, Ezreal. Massive pivot away from any sort of Varus prio. Sivir Lulu they played, Ezreal. They kind of restructured their team to be more lane-oriented around bot lane because they couldn't figure out ways to make Labrov good in the Rome game. So it means basically they went full Lulu, full lane oriented, and they made that switch up. And in order to be playing lane oriented, you need to pick champions that scale, because usually if you play like Kalista, Varus, and these type of champions, you want your support to be the carry of the game. You need to create a transfer of pressure, of course. So we go back to, of course, the finals, went to playoffs, and then pick a ban. Scroll down. K'Sante gets banned, and then KC is very happy with this trade. They go Ezreal and then Varus Maokai. And I think from G2's perspective, they were happy to play Vi and trade for Maokai. Usually I would associate, both players like Maokai, but here denying Vi from Yike in a BO5 is also quite important, right? You don't get away with, like if enemy can take Maokai and you don't have a preference for Vi, letting this go is a mistake. Now the crucial detail here of what KC did, right, is the emphasis on Maokai and also the denial of any combo with Vi. This was just fantastic. The enemy picks Leona, which is very, very greedy. Very greedy. I think that here you need to pick the mid laner that is going to match with Vi, especially if the champion you're going to pair it with is Orianna. I think G2 might have counted 3, and 1 was taken away and 2 were banned. So this is just beautiful from KC, because they manufactured this draft to put enemy mid lane in a position where he's playing something weaker. He ended up on, of course, Orianna, and that is just a weaker champion in the current state of things. So already, Varus, Maokai, Talia, you have very, very good poke, very good range. And then finally you have Darrell, and then the Aatrox into Ornn. I do think this draft is very playable for G2. I don't think it's like lost from draft, but I do like KC finding good value through the draft. I think Vladi is a fantastic Talia, that is also fair to say, of course. But picking Talia, banning Aurora Ahri definitely makes the Vi pick weaker. Because in other cases, imagine they play, for example, Ahri, and then they pick a top laner that is more carry-oriented instead of the Ornn, right? So this is very, very good. We go into the next match. You have KC, the previous one, there was no Skarner prior, plain and simple. Maokai and Vi was just prioritized over it. And now when Maokai and Vi is in the picture, challenging, the Skarner spot is super important. G2 start off with Draven ban, Kalista ban is matched, Ambessa follow up, just blue side sticky, and then Azir, and then the Misfortune ban. The Misfortune ban was very strange in my opinion. I think this was something that they picked in order to try to guarantee a scenario where they don't have as volatile bot lanes, but I'm not so sure what this Misfortune ban means. I also don't understand why they ban Lulu if MF is out, because obviously that's the only combo that you can play. It's very strange. And obviously I'm joking. Lulu is banned by KC. This is something that, of course, G2 played a lot. They played the combo into Fnatic. We had the Lulu Sivir. It also happened against GX when they played them, the Lulu Sivir. They just want to not be in a position where the enemy can play like a macro game where getting farm on Sivir is a winning condition. Right? So there's that. That's why they remove the Lulu. The Misfortune ban, I think not banning Rumble is kind of crazy to me. I think not banning Rumble, especially when you have the plan to pick Asante 1-2, I think is crazy talk. For anyone that has watched League this year, I think that if you see Skarner, Yon, Rumble as a core, and the NA lands on Ashe AD 4-5, and that is the cost for playing these combos, I think that's a price that you always are willing to pay. Always a price that you're willing to pay. G2 Zyra first pick, I don't mind it too much, but it only works if Rumble is out. Because the enemy team need to have the Rumble top. Because remember the KC recipe that I mentioned before. They want to have utility, fast clear, OP jungler, Alistar, utility for Targamas, and carry for everybody else. If Rumble is out of the picture, it means that if they want to play Yone, they need to play an AP jungler or an AP AD carry like Ziggs. So if they banned Rumble instead of MF here, I think it would have made a massive difference. I can also highlight for all the K'Sante enjoyers out there, I do think that K'Sante, the times he loses is into Rumble. I'm just double checking now if my experience is correct. So you have weak against Rumble 42 at 19 games. It's a small sample size, but I did get this impression that, especially after the Jace nerf, that K'Sante looks very strong unless the enemy has a Rumble angle or, of course, an Mbessa angle. And I think not opening Rumble, especially after the season that Kana's had playing Rumble, I do think that banning Misfortune over it is really, really troll. Because imagine, Rumble out, enemy have to choose, are they going to have an AP heavy comp? Let's say they go Skarner, Yone, Ziggs. Does Kalist play Ziggs? We're not so sure. He didn't play it this split. Then maybe it would have looked different. But now the Skarner, Yone core just gets so complete here with of course, the Rumble in the top lane. So really, really nice prep here from KC. And on the contrary as well, G2 with the very weak prep, because this Misfortune ban is just very, very bad in my opinion. Very bad. I like the Zyra idea because the AD mid laners, when Azir is out, are strong, right? With the Yone and the Corki potential. But here, I am not a super big fan. Ashe gets picked in the 4-5. They ban supports. I'm not so sure about these support bans and then the Blitzcrank blind. I am not so sure about Rakan ban, but Rakan is something that the Gammas likes to play. And then you are in a situation where Rakan is just good to combo with these champions, so I understand the rationale. It's also very mobile against Zyra and her roots, right? They pick Ashe. I wonder if the move would have been better to just ban AD carries, but Ashe is not something that they play a lot in the region. So there's that, right? I do think that G2 could have won this game, but they really, really botched the lane swap situation. I also don't think this is like some crazy, crazy outdraft. I do think the craziest outdraft is KC versus G2 in this game. This looked very, very desperate. You have Ryze, which is something that Caps spammed in solo queue. Playing Ryze against Victor, I think, is so difficult because you get outrange. Any mistake in the game that happens, you're going to be in trouble. Plain and simple. They blind pick Caitlyn because they just want to have pushing lanes and they want to just play a snowball game, inviting the Jhin and the Xin Zhao. Already as a core, 1, 2, 3, way easier to play. They have fine matchups, much easier to play. Pantheon Lokin, I think, makes sense with the Ryze identity. They ban Karma, Braum, Nautilus out, and they pick Thresh. I think here, together with Xin Zhao, I think Rakan gets too much value. So the pressure on G2 to snowball this game and to win this game somehow, I think, is incredibly hard. I don't even think that Urgot is that great into Gnar. The only way G2 can really win this is if they manage to snowball somehow with Rise, Pantheon, Urgot, and they dominate and control side. But any type of mistake that G2 does with this draft is just losing. Right? Blue side outscales really, really hard. And if they can't put Nar in the bin 0-0-3, right? Something like this, it is insanely difficult to play the game. So this is where the desperation came through. But I highlight this because even though I think KC has a draft edge here, KC has a draft edge here, I do think that these drafts should be playable for G2. And I say this because on the day, KC played individually better, strategically better, and they were just on point. So let's take a look at the gameplay, because gameplay is king. I think this draft is probably the most egregious one, if anything. Then let's jump into game number one. Game number one was plagued with this issue that Targamas found so many windows to pressure into mid lane. The Ezreal Leona were contesting and fighting for prio, but Targamas was just consistently pressuring Caps. Usually the games we see G2 lose is when Caps is getting spam ganked and he doesn't get the support to play the way he wants to play. That's why it's like Caps' performance has been consistently so good, because most of the time his teammates know that all roads lead to Rome, but this is also something all enemies know, right? So it is something that is important to highlight. BB missed, BB gained experience here, and out of the swap, Ornn was in a really, really good situation. As you can see here, the wave bounces, good wave control by G2, and Aatrox bases and TP's bot. So BB has an XP advantage, and additionally, he has a TP advantage. And this is just the nature of how, of course, KC managed the waves. They managed the wave in a way where BB got XP, and then you had a very, very early base here from Targamas, and BB can just leash experience. And now we have the situation where Kana missed a lot of the melees, and now he gets level 2 under the turret, and then G2 bounced the wave. And Varus is recalling to look to match, but G2 can just stay for this cannon, and then they can base, basically they can base and see what the enemy does, right? They see the Aatrox TP into bottom side, and BB was already slow pushing a wave out, so he's in a good spot. Let's take a look now at the first gank on Caps. Not that big of a deal, right? It's like pre-TP, so it's okay. We continue. We jump forward. Baby Big Dragon, as per usual. 36 CS versus 36 CS. I think Skumond takes a pretty big risk here. I think this is always dependent on what your bot lane situation is. But if they can walk at you like this, and Kalis is about to reach level 5, this is just a terrible Drake, right? G2 are weaker bot. KC is stronger because of the nature of, the champs. Varus, lethality Varus is very strong. Here, if G2 aren't crossing and contesting the Maokai and they are weaker, it is a losing play. They also know in which direction Yike is going to clear into. They know that he's going to land on this side. This is just plain and simple. Usually, in my experience, situations like this is when your bot lane lies to you. Not intentionally, but they say, we are stronger bot, we can do it. So here, Skumon gets pushed out. Caps is not 6 yet. He's going to get 6 on the next wave. Vladi is soft contesting him, and Kalist and Targamas cross first. And Kalist was in isolation. If Kalist was in isolation, so he's level 5 as well, which of course also matters for power, right? It also really, really matters for power. So this is already a big advantage for KC. Vi literally did Dragon for him, right? Here Yike is crossing. I don't know if this is the correct move. I wonder if Yike thinks that maybe Vi is going to reach 6 and they can dive Aatrox, because this is something that, when I look at what Yike's options are here, I think he could do Gromp, he could do Crab, and then he could look to push on bot. Maybe they can look to Maokai Ultim after they get 6 of these 2 camps that I mentioned, and just ignore top side. It looks like he's walking here because he might be thinking that Vi is going to get 6. But it's too soon. Vi is not getting 6 right. And I think that Maokai could have plain and simple done Gromp, crab, and then pressure 6 on mid wave and on bot at the same time. And then if he's afraid of losing his chickens, he crosses through mid, pressures Orianna out, and then goes to chickens, and then all is fine, right? I think it would have been better. So here, Ezreal Leona, if you look at the movement here of Leona and the pressure that Argamas omits, like basically fucking does here, he's in fog of war, they don't know where he is, and Kailis is standing on the wave bot. He's standing on the wave, and Leona is playing 3 screens behind. Like, look at what Leona is playing right now on the minimap. Do you guys see that? As you guys can see, Leona is playing 3 screens behind and is afraid. So there's that, you know. We scroll forward. Varos basically crashes the wave while Targamas is in fog of war. The only difference here is that Labrov is getting a lot of XP while Targamas is consistently pressuring around mid, and they have full river control the whole game. These 2 pinks that are placed are really, really massive, and KC don't give any room for Caps to really breathe. Here I was very surprised, bro. Look how much damage fucking Rel does, bro. I always get surprised. I'm like looking, there's a level 4 Rel, and an Amp Tome for level 4 Rel is basically like one-shotting on Orianna, which is massive. I wonder here if Yike was in position, maybe they could have, you know, if he kited the crab towards mid lane more, maybe he could have ulted, maybe he could have played more, but this is still massive, right? It's like Caps has to flash. He lives, but the fact that he has to flash against Maokai is already massive, right? Already massive. We continue. The lead from before, Broken Blade is snowballing it. It is a natural thing because Kana was very far behind, didn't have TP. BB just snowballing the lead. He had a Bramble Vest against, of course, Cull. That is, you know, the state of Kana right now is natural. Nothing too crazy. You know, the key thing is like if Ornn has a better start and has more gold than you, he can just build items and he can just leverage such a big gold advantage onto you in an easy way. He doesn't need to base, doesn't need to do anything. Let's take a look at this one. So Nimbus Cloak, Yike, believes that he's gonna be on time, but Caps holding W. I wonder if Vladi, this is kind of a funky one, right? But I wonder if Vladi would get hit by this Q if Caps would just naturally W him. Because Wing on himself is what keeps Caps alive here. So as you can see here, he misses the Q, Vladi dodges behind the wall with the move speed of passive. And then Yike comes in here. I wonder if the move should have been to just Maokai ult. Yike is a little bit greedy, and I think he could have Maokai ulted. And instead, he just looks for the flash, but the move speed from the shoes and the W is enough. I wonder, like I'm going to assume that Yike was not in range, even though it looks like he's in range. Sometimes the angle we are from, here can be, of course, deceiving. So Yike finally reaches Caps. The Leona ult to mask the potential combo, I think, is a good move. And then the Maokai ult finally comes through. And I don't know where Vladi W is. Where's Vladi W? Just Casey just kind of broke their hands on this play that should have been kind of a locked one. The W, ooh, that is the W. So Casey break their hands on this play, that's for sure. And then finally Targamas comes with the combo and Maokai cues him out. Because the play in itself is really, really good. It's really, really good. But Ezreal in the end gets the kill. A lot of like things went wrong here for Casey. I didn't understand at all why on earth Caps decided to buy Road of Ages. I think it's just really, really bad. I think it's just trash. Now the return gang from G2, they're setting up on Talia with Leona ult and Vi. This is the strength of these champions, right? They can reach targets like Talia. Very, very few champions actually have this target access. G2 do a good move of crossing through top side because they know that the vision control on bottom side has been very strong from KC. So here we have the move, and the big mistake here is just Caps with his ult placement is basically pushing Vladi into the tower. And I think this additional distance that Vladi gets is just game-changing. He pulls him into the tower. That is tough. The Maokai ult, you know, this Maokai was just passing by here. Maokai ult comes flying. Vladi flashes, and Vladi also W's in the other direction, but ends up not mattering because obviously here Labrov dies anyway. But this build from Orianna, the moment I saw this build from Orianna, I thought it's hopeless, right? Usually, I am not a big fan of when Twitch chatters or anyone in particular says, this composition has no damage. Well, with Road of Ages Orianna, that is very true. It just makes Aatrox so much more powerful. Usually, in my mind, how you evaluate the strength of Aatrox is, can you survive a CC chain combo by the enemy? Yes, useful. If not, useless. So even though here, Ezreal Orianna, like if they can CC chain Aatrox and one-shots him, I think it's entirely possible this game. But Caps with this build is looking, it's just, it doesn't solve anything. Doesn't make you tanky, doesn't make you do damage. So what is the purpose? There is no purpose. There's only despair. Unending despair. Also, solid item. Nerfed on this patch. We continue. So KC continued this streak of controlling River in a beautiful way. Like, this is very almost Fnatic-esque, you know? Fnatic did a good job the entire year of contesting River, and they put the pressure on G2 like that. Here, KC had full control of bot side River always, which allowed Vladi to play very aggressively, which is very nice. Kalist clears a pink, and Labrov is spotted on Vision. After he's spotted on this Vision, I feel like Labrov has more freedom to do something else. I think that no team is going to look to pressure dive on Hansama here. And I think that Labrov is so scared by Fog of War perma that he doesn't find any creative angles to actually pressure the map. Like, my point is, Labrov has been so stuck to bot lane the majority of this game, besides that one play that went wrong because of the Orianna ult. Like here, Labrov, he's just wasting time. Targamos is already in base. Kalist has gotten so much solo XP, and Labrov is now backing off to not show on the wave. But he could have already been in base, and he could have opened on, of course, the top side of the map. Malka is now showing on the pink. You could clearly read from KC how they push and how they play, that there was no intention behind, of course, diving bot. So if that's not the enemy's intention, you don't need to be bottom with Leona because you're not going to fight for prio. A very important rule that I can tell all of you out there, if you want to succeed as a support, only show up when you are fighting or actively doing something. Are you preventing an enemy engage? Are you pressuring the enemy off the wave? Otherwise, be hidden, be a ghost. Here, I think just Labrov is late, right? Labrov is late. I think also Caps getting dry comboed into Maokai ult. It's just a little bit too easy. Caps could have homies here. He could have homies here. But Caps knows he doesn't have homies here. And even if he had homies here, he wouldn't do well. Alright, let's take a look at this. Here I don't understand. Like G2 just seemed... Like this was a very, very bad look for G2, this one, after Caps died as well. Is that I think Scumon has a good idea here. Why doesn't BB believe in him? Why doesn't BB believe in his jungler here? Why doesn't he just fucking Ornult on this instantly? This is so strange to me. He doesn't believe in his jungler at all, doesn't play with his jungler. You don't posture together. Why is BB just... Like, what is he doing? It looked like he was on Facebook. This was extremely disappointing in this moment. Why is he not playing? Because I think Scumon's angle is really good. Like this is a very good angle. Vladi is no HP. Aatrox is on top wave. They have full vision, right? And I think this was a fantastic play from Scumon. Like BB should just this Maokai should be one shot in my opinion. Look how strong Scumon is. The enemy team doesn't have ultimates. Like, this could have been a very, very interesting play if they play, you know? Like, look how strong this Vi is with the Sundered Sky. And look at Scumon movement. Like, Scumon played this really good. Bro, if there's any to signify, bro, how important solo queue is, this best of 5 really, really is, man. Like, Scumon mechanically played this insane. He played this really, really insane. But the follow-up is not the greatest. He played it really, really insane, and then he queued in here and kind of got him. Oof. I think that he has passive on, so it's like really unfortunate he has passive on and also Sundered Sky, but I think if BB plays this better, I think it's just a really, really clean play, and they get some gold back. Because look how late Leona is here. Vi is crossing to do her bot side camps, and Caps is hitting. There's two schools of thought. You could easily say, all right, I want to farm bot side camps. We pushed out top. Let's drop some vision, right? Let's drop some wards from Leona, Vi. Let's clear their vision to make sure Caps is safe. And then we cross and we do our bot side camps. That's fine. You can do that. But just too much mixture. Because look how much faster Rel is into top. And it's crazy, you know, the detail from KC's side of how confident they are in how they are playing the game is that Maokai, like they said in comms, we don't need Maokai to do this play, which is insane. This is classic gameplay from KC in my opinion. And Vi is showing on the mid wave because their idea is we're gonna herald on the mid turret because enemy support is top and we don't know where Maokai is, but we can assume Maokai maybe is going into top side. Maokai now adjusts and goes into mid because he spots Vi. And that information of spotting Vi is so crucial because now Maokai is behind the Varus and Skimond is going to Zimbabwe with no visa, like Velia. And after this, I think that KC is just in a very, very dominant spot. They get the kill on Orianna. The play from G2 is far too desperate. I think that this is just very, very incohesive gameplay from G2. That is like the main problem, right? Very, very incohesive. They don't know how to contest. They don't know how to create space for one another. There's no fluidity in how they play. It's as if, you know, they are a band and they are playing different notes and different beats. Here as well, you know, natural progression. G2, you know, G2 want to pressure the other side because they know the enemy is on Drake. But I really like that KC aren't overcommitting on the Drake. Maokai is soloing it because they know the enemy is not contesting with the vision that they have and the saplings that they put. So now Tagamas is continuing the process of the game by putting vision. And he puts vision down. And there's the pink. Really, really well done, you know. He puts down the vision. And through that vision, they see Ezreal crossing. Now Ezreal's crossing and Aatrox is undermining. And they know that the bottom wave is dead. And KC is grouping up on this side of the map. Really well done by Tagamas to continue the process of the game. Super beautiful. And G2 are just flanking. It's like Kana is the biggest, is just a demon in terms of how he uses Fog of War. Because look at how Aatrox moves here. The continuation of how they build vision and play around vision is so beautiful. Because look at Aatrox. Look at Aatrox. He's not spotted yet. He's not spotted. He's not spotted. He saw Ezreal cross. Kana is still not spotted. He's still not spotted. And then he says, surprise, motherfucker. And where can Ezreal play? Just the continuation of vision and continuing the play is so nice. It's so damn good. Casey's playing some really, really classy League of Legends here, man. Like this vision pocket kind of played in is damn cool. Very, very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. All right, let's take a look at game number 2, guys. Game number 2. This is a full hard swap with Dive, and also they burnt Rumble's Flash level 1. So it should be the easiest, freest dive ever. Very easy. Hidarina asks, why I don't get why they swapped this game. They swapped this game because they have a very strong dive, and the enemy doesn't have a strong enough dive to break K'Sante, in my opinion. I think that it makes sense. K'Sante is just very difficult to dive, and Targamas did a good job of denying BBXP. He just W'd him out when, of course, the melees were dying. So here, the biggest problem is that Skimon takes a turret shot. Thing is, Skimon taking a turret shot doesn't only mean that he takes damage, it also means that the turret is more stacked. So here, this should be the freest dive ever. But this plant, I don't know why Skimond did this. Skimond putting the plant down is so bad. Why did he do that? I really don't know why he did that. He put the plant. Well, he put the plant down. Why? He takes the third turret shot, which means that this turret is very stacked. Now Labrov starts with E. Oof. He also takes the kill. I really like Casey's focus on dragons. Their focus on dragon, I think, is way better than the grub focus. I don't think grubs do much anymore. I think the games are too fast, and I don't think you have time to push too much. And I think if you are stronger, you are just chilling. This is kind of a cool play. It's sad that Caps doesn't get the auto off here, because one more auto into R could have been lethal. I wonder if you just didn't have the attack speed for it. This is a fun interaction here from Skarner too. He is CCable, but his ult is uncancelable. Ends up in a 1-for-1. And now here we have the huge Rumble TP, like G2. Not sure what the plan is to even contest this, right? Beautiful arrow. Labrov doesn't tank it. I think he has to. And then they need to play. And there's Kana. You know, in the grand scheme of things, this isn't the worst for G2 because BB does get saves from a very, very terrible spot here. Because BB gets to push in 2 waves. They lose a Drake they would have lost anyway, and they went 1-for-2. I don't think this is the worst for G2. Because Kesanda actually is allowed now to finish, of course, his Spirit Visage. Because the play here is to just defend the top dive. And if you defend the top dive, Ashe is going to push the next wave. She can hawk shot to spot anyone in river. She pushes the next wave, Yom pushes, and then you're chilling. So I think here is just a Casey mistake. I think they lost the plot here a little bit. They were in the position to defend, and Kana could have also ulted the wave. Because imagine here, if G2 don't feel if G2 push this and pressure the next cannon, you have Kana ulting the wave, and then you have free pry on mid. Because Koki commits here, he just right clicks here because he's expecting a fight. But I do think from G2's side to create some chaos by walking here is still a good one. So here from this position, I thought that G2 could win. They have gold in the right pockets. Tristana's rich. This is definitely winnable. I think this is the game probably with the least amount of draft gap, if anything. Someone in the chat said this is the biggest draft gap. I think blue side is playable. You know, I think definitely it's playable. This is a great Zyra game. Mobile carries with Tristana Koki. They should just be ahead out of the swap situation, which matters a lot. You know. Here is just weird because I think BB wants to face check into here and push him off dick push, but I feel like Zyra is just not playing the game. Like, I really think that these players shouldn't be afraid when Kesanta is walking forward. Because Kesanta can only walk forward if him losing HP actually yields something. But Yon is currently here, and I do think that the fight can explode into this. Like someone should place the ward and pink, and then fight should commence. Throw some spells. This is a good Zyra game, guys. This is a good Zyra game. Like Rumble, Ashe are good against Zyra, I would say. Rumble, Ashe are very good against Zyra. But this is a fine Zyra game. Zyra against Yon, Skarner. But it's like, you have Vladi stacking and nobody is allowed to enter. Nobody's fighting. I don't see why. Caps jumps onto Vladi because he doesn't have Q3 and no minions to play with. And it just looks to me like Zyra and Koki, they don't know what the purpose is here. To me, they don't know how to leverage the fact that Broken Blade is like posturing forward. But they place their wards here. They have no pinks. You need to be able to get vision into this bush. And K'Sante needs to be able to fucking E forward here and Q and hit. And then Zyra should put her spells down. But it did not happen. G2 is just in the cuck chair, waiting for the perfect Rumble ult lineup. They are so afraid, and then you get the best Rumble ult ever, you know, as you get completely pushed out, and Yak does a little loop around. And then in the end, Skimon just gets arrowed. And now G2 are face checking. Now they're entering. Way too late. Vladi survives with flash. Caps doesn't get him. They get the mid tower. Look where Koki is. Look where Ashe is. Look where Alistar is. Zyra, Blitzcrank are just not a part of this. Like, they do a map opener into topside. Is it correct? I think it is correct. Tristana is already pushed bot wave all the way. But then here, Caps is tinkering, bro. Like, Caps is in a state of mind, he needs to carry this fucking game, so he's tinkering. And now Zyra and Blitzcrank are just way too late for this play that Caps is setting up. This is just not the way, you know? Here's Kana. Let's take a look at this again. KC, dig bush control, banana bush, whatever you want to call it. They put 2 pings down even. That's how much they care about it. They know the importance. This time around, G2 is face checking in, right? I don't know where BB is going though. I have no clue where BB is going. Hey, BB should just stay in this bush and fight with his bros. Because his team is already hitting. The rule is, as a tank player, if you are hitting, if your teammates are hitting, good. You don't need to do anything. If your teammates are not hitting, don't lose HP. Here, he needs to just stay in this pocket. Maybe even W, Alistar. Play the game. Here, Scanner is going deep already. I don't know where BB is going. Who gets Scanner ulted here? Skimond? I don't know why Skimon doesn't just drop all of his ults. Like his ult down here. Why doesn't he drop his ult? I really don't know why he doesn't drop his ult here on the scanner. Like here you just drop the ult in this circle here now. You have plants, they get empowered. Why is this guy not getting Giga CC chained? Why is his Zyra ult so late? Because Zach, this to me looks very playable. From G2's perspective, this looks very playable. I think BB just goes a little bit too far. I would rather have him stick here in this bush and play. And then I think if Zyra ult comes down, Hansama and Caps are hitting, they can maybe even kill the Skana here. Instead, Skana lives, Zyra ult is late, and Casey, just Drake setups. Like, their Drake setups are so well-oiled, bro. Their Drake setups are fucking magnificent. You know, I already said it in the draft conversation. It's like, if you make mistakes with red side draft or you don't get ahead, which is like not pressuring your lead or pressuring your advantages, is also a mistake, right? Pande was super far ahead in the opening conditions. This lane gank here, I really thought Zinza was spotted. I don't know if it was camera tricks. Let's take a look here. What happened? Like, he's not seen? Look, this is G2's vision. This is G2's vision. I don't know, bro. I just have to assume that G2 is good enough to see it, right? Like, I have to assume. Like, it's just that if you are watching through red side POV here, like he got spot. I don't see a world where they don't fucking realize, right? Are they that deep into their own head? Are they that deep into their own head that they don't see him? I'm just gonna hope and assume that it's chill, you know? Like, they didn't see him. Because this is so big. It's like, you're not allowed to die. You're not allowed to die, guys. This is, I don't know, this was, G2 was just broken, right? They were the way worse team, and I think they realized, and they tried to make something happen. This is very, very good trap placement. And people were flaming. It's like, why did he walk into the trap? No, this is really, really good trap placement. It's like, he's putting trap right onto Jin's attack range. And it's such a natural, built-in thing to do as an AD to hit here. Like, this is really, really muscle memory. And it's huge to take advantage of that. It's a good play, I think, from Hansama. Obviously, Kalis can play better, all that jazz. I don't disagree. But it's a well-placed trap because it really plays on the auto range of Jin and his muscle memory. G2, honestly, I think they're just fucking surprised by how much damage this Hextech Dragon does. Like, this Hextech Dragon is just murdering them. Look at the HP values of G2 before they leashed this objective. Right now, Skimond is like a little bit more than half right, 65%. And then here, he can just take plant and heal to full. Like, that's an angle. He pulls it out. He takes a plant here. He eats some planties. Look at the HP of Skimond. He's relatively healthy. But look how fucking the dragon fists him. He gets completely murdered. I understand from G2's POV why they would want to play this, right? But it's like they kill both, rises on tempo. They have the earlier game comp, but Casey just pushed him out. And then the slash from Caps is just a little bit too desperate. I think it's so cool that Casey decided they want to fight this shit, you know? They could have easily just walked away, but they're like, let's rock and roll. Let's get Vladi some kills here. Let's fight the 3v4. Really nice. Really, really nice. And as mentioned before, like, it's just over. The draft is just over at this point. Look how useless the champions are, guys. Look at how useless the champions are of G2, bro. The fucking lanterning with Trash. He's getting one tap, bro. 1-3 on Trash. They're just forcing a situation into a Victor that has item advantage. They have man advantage too. Caitlyn is on the wave. It's just very, very bad play across the board, guys. G2 got completely rocked. Completely rocked. And on the flip side, you know, I don't want to only look at it from the point of view of G2 because like Casey is playing so compact and so well. Not as catching bot. And then after catching, he's matching, walking, not pushing the neutral. Casey is always on the same page about things. And I think usually when you have a top laner that is so cohesive, that doesn't have like the best English, I do think that Kana is just so in tune with the game, bro. He's just so in tune with the game. He sees where he needs to be, sees which waves he needs to push without any additional info from anybody. That's really, really insane by itself. And then here, just how Jin also rotates to the play, how Casey are already in river first, Targamas and Zinzao just on the same spot. Vladi already posturing here to poke while his team is, of course, clearing their camps and clearing wards. I really like that Vladi just sticks around here, you know? He sticks around here. He doesn't oink on the mid wave like most mid laners do. He sticks around here, throws some spells, invites a fight. You know, it's really, really nice. But Casey is just all on the same page and they're playing good League of Legends. I love it, man. This on the flip side, though, here there's too many things going on at once. Here they're becoming too greedy. Now this is the opposite. Jin is on the bot wave, hitting. You have Rakan on top side, on vision. They're hitting, and they don't have information on anybody besides Caitlyn, right? So this is not good. This is definitely not good. Because here is the reverse. BB dropping the bot wave, the neutral one, and then crossing into here. This ain't it, you know? This ain't Falco. KC giving away some freebies here. Trading side, being even in this game state is just horrible, guys. Victor is stronger on side, and the Zinza Rakan powerhouse just outscales their opponents way too easily. And now for the rest of the game, let's take a look at the beauty that is Kananar. Skimond entering in for the smite. Very nice ultimate there from Yak to push him out. Skimond flashes in, but into a Victor W. Beautiful, beautiful lineup from Targamas. Because there's always this giving credit to the Big Bang, right? Giving credit to the Big Bang, but I have to say Targamas really, really, it's basically Wolf in Faker Finds Them All. Targamas flies in here, hits a 3-man W, bro, without his quickness popped. It's a juicy one. It's a juicy one. Really, really nice. Another one, why not? Vladi gets caught on the side, buys enough time, of course, with his hourglass. They have Atakan respawn, and here comes Kana. The Nar that reaches all of them. How did the Rakan knock-up not get cancelled by Trash E? You need to cancel the dash. You cannot cancel the, you know? You have to cancel the dash. Look at that. Bah. That's a juicy fucking Nar ult, bro. This one is even, I think this one is borderline fucking juicier than the other one. Crazy. KC are the new LEC champions. God bless that they got rid of these shields, bro. Like, the image of players holding a shield and raising a shield wouldn't be half as cool. They're holding a trophy. For some reason, the trophy is chrome, so every motherfucker's fingerprint. This trophy works for Mossad. They're just tracking. They're just getting all fingerprints of everybody on this. You know, this trophy here works for, you know, the CIA, bro. Right? They're getting everybody's fingerprints, but way better than the shields. I think in terms of the studio being the place, I think that they nailed. I think they did the most. That, like, they did a beautiful thing in the studio, in my opinion. They did a beautiful studio thing in the studio, in my opinion. That's so nice. That's very, very nice.